You're not a baby, Rebecca. You need money, and I have what you need. You know what to do.
I know what he wants, but can I give it to him? If I do, I lose my standing with God but save my father's life. What do I do?
Let us go inside.
What do you mean Brother Ezekiel has disappeared? I am carrying his baby. When you were doing it, you did not know it would result in pregnancy. Ogwini, come and claim your pikin.
Charity Biko, I am not ready for fatherhood.
Brother Ezekiel, let's get married. I'm having your baby.
No, I'm too young for marriage.
Brother Ezekiel, wait. We have to talk.
No, leave me alone.
My pastor daddy has no idea his daughter is a fish.
The church was empty. The last worshipper had gone home. The instruments were silent. The only sounds left were Charity's breathing and the nervous heartbeat pounding inside Pastor Ezekiel's chest. They stood facing each other in the middle of the sanctuary. For several seconds, neither spoke. Finally, Charity broke the silence. Say something. Ezekiel swallowed hard. I think I need to sit down. He stumbled towards a chair and collapsed into it. Ezekiel, darling, I know this came as a shock to me too, but we can't let this news shock the church members. Ezekiel's head snapped towards her. The church members? Of course, Charity said matter-of-factly. I can't hide the pregnancy forever. In a few months, everybody will know. Ezekiel looked as though his soul had left his body. Charity gently rubbed his shoulder. He immediately pulled away. Trying to gather himself, Ezekiel spoke. Maybe we should, get rid of the... Charity gasped. Get rid of what? Don't tell me you are suggesting an abortion. Are you not training to be a pastor? What does the Bible say about a life? Ezekiel nearly choked. No, that's not what I meant. Charity nodded. Now back to what I was saying. The easiest way out is that we get married. Ezekiel practically launched himself out of the chair. Marriage? His voice echoed through the empty church. I haven't even completed my pastoral training. Charity folded her arms. And how exactly do you think the church will interpret this? She pointed at her stomach. Or do you want people thinking our private Bible study sessions were actually romantic excursions? Ezekiel opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Exactly. Charity adjusted her handbag. I'll tell my parents tonight. You tell yours. Then she dropped the final bomb. We need to get married before my belly starts showing. And just like that, she walked away, leaving Ezekiel alone, broken, confused, and wondering how his entire future had derailed in less than 10 minutes. Outside the church, however, the mood was very different. The moment Charity stepped into the night air, a grin exploded across her face. She looked around to make sure no one was watching. Then she clapped her hand over her mouth to stop herself from laughing. Turning towards the church, she whispered triumphantly, "Yes!" And she practically skipped away. Meanwhile, across town, another young woman was facing a very different battle. Rebecca sat nervously inside Don Magnus' office. The notorious club owner leaned back in his chair and studied her. You want another salary advance? Rebecca nodded. You still haven't finished paying back the last one. I know, sir. My father is sick. I need your help. Don Magnus sighed. How much? Rebecca licked her dry lips. 5 million naira. For a moment, the room fell silent. Then Don Magnus burst into laughter. The kind of laughter that made Rebecca wish the ground would open and swallow her.
5 million! What do you think I am? An ATM machine?
Please, sir.
5 million? He said. Yes, sir. He shook his head. Do you know some girls make more than that in this club every month? Rebecca lowered her eyes. But you won't do what they do. His voice hardened. Rebecca, you are one of the most beautiful girls working here. He leaned forward. And it's such a waste. Rebecca looked uncomfortable. I can't do that, sir. I know, Don Magnus said, folding his arms. And that's why I will give you 5 million. Rebecca's heart sank. Tears threatened to spill. I have nowhere else to go. Don Magnus stared at her for a long moment. Then he spoke. Let's make a deal. Rebecca looked up. Join the elite club. Her eyes widened. The elite club? Yes. His gaze never left hers. Join them, and I'll loan you the money. Rebecca froze. She knew exactly what the elite club was, and she knew exactly what joining it would cost. The choice stood before her like a cliff edge. Jump or watch her father die.
Brother Ezekiel, where are you? Have you seen Brother Ezekiel? No, I haven't seen him around.
Back at the church the next day, Charity was looking for Ezekiel. Service had ended. Members were already heading home, but Ezekiel was nowhere to be found. Have you seen him? Charity asked Rosalie. Rosalie shook her head. I didn't even see him in church today. Charity frowned. That's impossible. Rosalie shrugged. Maybe he's on evangelism. Charity quickly dialed his number. The response came immediately. The number you're trying to call is out of reach. Her smile vanished. For the first time, fear began creeping into her heart. Had Pastor Ezekiel disappeared? Elsewhere, another storm was brewing. Pastor Benga stood in the middle of his living room, glaring at Tokunbo. Show me the holy water you gave your mother. Tokunbo swallowed. The bottle broke. Pastor Benga folded his arms. The bottle broke. His eyes narrowed. If I hadn't returned home when I did, what would have happened to your mother? Tokunbo instantly switched into victim mode. Daddy, are you accusing me of something? You tell me, he said. Then came the tears, the dramatic tears, the Oscar body tears.
My daddy doesn't love me. He doesn't. He doesn't. Daddy, love me, please. Please love me.
Release me, Tokunbo. Release me!
Please, Daddy.
Daddy, why do you hate me? Pastor Benga blinked. What? Even our dog Lawrence gets more love from me than I do, Tokunbo accused. At that exact moment, Pastor Demilade walked into the room. It was perfect timing. The moment Tokunbo saw her mother, she increased the crying volume. Pastor Demilade rushed to her side. Daddy, How many times will you question this girl? Pastor Benga threw his hands into the air. I only asked her where the holy water came from. Ah, it came from church. Pastor Lady replied. It was given to Tokunbo by her girlfriend, whose father is a pastor. Pastor Benga immediately asked, what is her name? Tokunbo released another earthquake-level wail. Pastor Lady sighed. This discussion is over. She turned to Tokunbo. Go to your room. Tokunbo shot her father a victorious look before leaving. The moment she disappeared upstairs, Pastor Benga groaned. You are enabling her. But Pastor Demilade wasn't listening. And somewhere deep down, Pastor Benga knew something was terribly wrong.
Let the party begin! Woo! This is how to dance. We beremole!
That night, Tokunbo was far away from church, far away from prayer meetings. She sat inside a bar with Mark, tequila in hand. The two friends laughed loudly as old memories flooded back. You remember the first time you drank alcohol? Mark asked. Tokunbo burst into laughter. I nearly died. You nearly peed in your pants. They both laughed. Then Tokunbo became thoughtful. You know something? I actually prefer this version of me. Mark raised an eyebrow. The party girl? Exactly. She took another sip. I spent years trying to become my parents. And now, I know I'll never be them. Mark lifted his glass. Cheers to that. The glasses clinked. Then Tokunbo remembered something. My dad enrolled me in pastoral training. Mark nearly choked. You? A pastor? Please, oh, I'm not ready to be a pastor's husband. Those words hit Tokunbo harder than she expected. She fell silent. For a moment, the noise of the bar seemed to fade into the background as she stared at Mark. They had known each other since their second year at the university. Ironically, the first time they met, she had gone to evangelize to him. Back then, Tokunbo had been the perfect pastor's daughter. She attended every fellowship, every church service, every prayer meeting. She carried her Bible everywhere and believed she had all the answers. Mark changed that. Instead of accepting her invitation to church, he started asking her questions. Difficult questions. Questions she had never considered before. Do you really love Christ, Tokunbo? Or are you a Christian simply because your parents are? Have you ever stopped to think for yourself? At first, she had been offended. Then she became curious. A week later, she found herself knocking on Mark's hostel door again. Not to preach, but to learn. Mark was brilliant. The kind of person who could spend hours discussing philosophy, faith, science, and life itself. He had studied the Bible deeply, yet he didn't live like the Christians Tokunbo knew. He rarely attended church. He skipped fellowships. He partied whenever he wanted. He drank, he had fun, and somehow, despite all of that, he remained the best student in their department. Meanwhile, Tokunbo did everything she was told a good Christian girl should do. She avoided parties, she obeyed the rules, she lived carefully. Yet she was nothing more than an average student struggling to keep up. Slowly, almost without realizing it, she began to envy Mark's freedom. Most of all, he made her see something she had never dared to admit. Her life felt boring, painfully boring. Tokunbo had grown up sheltered. Home, church, school, repeat. Her entire world had existed inside carefully constructed boundaries. University was the first time she had ever breathed air that didn't smell like rules, and Mark had become the face of that freedom. Now, years later, sitting across from him with a drink in her hand, she realized just how much influence he had over her life. Mark reached across the table and gently took her hand. His eyes locked onto hers. School is over, Tokunbo. His voice was soft but firm. We need to start thinking about ourselves now. Tokunbo stared at him. The neon light reflected in his eyes. And for a brief moment, her heart fluttered. Not because of what he said, but because a small part of her knew that every major turn her life had taken since university had somehow begun with Mark. Hours later, Tokunbo finally arrived home. The taxi stopped a few houses away from the gate. Just as she had instructed, she wasn't taking any chances. Inside the cab, she hurriedly began her transformation. The glamorous party girl disappeared piece by piece. First, she wiped away her makeup, then she slipped a loose boo-boo over her fitted outfit. The high heels vanished into her handbag and were replaced with flat slippers. By the time she stepped out of the taxi, she looked less like a woman returning from a night of drinking and more like a church sister coming back from a late vigil. The driver watched her in amazement. Madam, you own too much, oh," he muttered as she paid him. Tokunbo ignored him and hurried towards the house. The compound was dark and quiet. Perfect. She knocked lightly on the gate. No response. She knocked again. Still nothing. A frown appeared on her face. "Where is this gate man?" she whispered. "I specifically told him to stay awake tonight." She knocked a third time, a little harder. Nothing. Now she had a problem. She couldn't keep knocking. If her parents woke up, there would be questions. Lots of questions. And Tokunbo wasn't in the mood to answer any of them. Her eyes slowly drifted upwards to the tall fence. An idea formed. A terrible idea. The kind of idea that usually ended in regret. But at that moment, it seemed like the only option. With surprising agility, she grabbed the fence and began climbing.
Wait, this wall is high, oh, but I can manage.
A few moments later, she was balanced awkwardly on top of it, trying to figure out the safest way down. Unfortunately for her, someone else was awake.
Fire! Fire on the enemies! Fire on the witches and territorial powers! Lord, arrest any principality and powers flying around this night. Let them fall down and die. Die by fire!
It was her father, Pastor Benga. The man was outside the compound, deep in prayer. His eyes were shut tightly. His hands were raised towards heaven. His voice rose and fell as he declared war against every power of darkness within a 100-kilometer radius. "I take authority," he paced. "I pull down strongholds." He paced some more. "Every evil arrow fired against his family, back to sender." Then suddenly, he heard something. A faint scraping sound. His eyes snapped open. At first, He thought he was imagining things. Then he looked up and froze. There, silhouetted against the night sky, sat a figure perched on top of his fence. Pastor Benga nearly swallowed his tongue. God of Elijah. He stumbled backward. His finger shot towards the fence. A witch! Tokunbo's heart stopped. A witch has landed on my fence! Her father shouted. Tokunbo remained frozen in place, neither moving forward nor backward. The two of them stared at each other, father and daughter, one terrified, the other horrified. And in that exact moment, Tokunbo realized that climbing the fence might have been one of the worst decisions of her life. 3 girls, 3 secrets, 3 lives slowly heading towards collision. One was chasing marriage, one was chasing a miracle, and one was running from the truth. But destiny has a strange way of exposing what people work hardest to hide. And before the story is over, tears will fall, hearts will break, a mask will come off. Because every church girl has a secret, but not every secret survives the light. To be continued. Like, share, and subscribe to Adaeze Stories. See you in the next episode.